Hey everybody, Mr. Brucker here, your PE teacher at Duker, and we're here to go over another wellness lesson. Remember, anything you do to help keep care of your body, which obviously is one of the most important things you can do, is wellness. Just recently, we covered the skeletal system. And remember, one of my infamous comments I always make is the more you understand about your body, the better you will keep care of it. And we talked about how important our skeletal system was. It was the framework of our whole body that held us up. I kind of used that gross comment that without your skeletal system, you'd be nothing but a blob of skin and organs and stuff on the floor. I hope that didn't gross you out too much, but it's true. Very important. Now, we are going to study what attaches to that framework, our muscles. Some neat and important facts about your muscles. First of all, you have about 600 of them on your body, and it makes up about 40%. Muscles make up 40% of our total body weight. There are three kinds of muscles in your body. There's what we call smooth muscles. Smooth muscles are also called involuntary muscles. Involuntary means they work without you even thinking about it, such as the muscles that make you blink. You don't think about blinking, but you do it anyway. And some muscles, for example, that help with digestion, they just help work in there and you're not even thinking about it. The other type of muscles that we have in our body are called cardiac muscles. I used a fancy term before that sounded familiar to that when we studied the components of fitness, cardiovascular endurance. The word cardio means heart, so those are muscles that help with your heart function. And then lastly, we have skeletal muscles, which is going to be our main focus when we talk about fitness and movement and activity. Those are muscles that attach to your bones or your skeleton. All right? So, without further ado, we're going to jump in to the study of those muscles right now. Don't be intimidated. I asked you not to be intimidated when we were going to study 206 bones. I hope you trusted me on that. We broke it down into a way that I think we can memorize them. Same thing with the muscles. We are not going to study all 600 muscles of the human body. All right? Muscles are also grouped together, what we call muscle groups. All right? We're only going to study approximately 20 or so of them, but these are going to be the main muscle groups of the human body, and specifically the ones that we're going to be talking about that help us to move, help us to do our fitness activities to stay healthy. Eventually, my ultimate goal is for you not only to understand the names and the locations of these muscle groups, but to learn activities and to understand what specific exercise or activities you can do to make these muscle groups healthy. Obviously stronger, but also to build endurance and flexibility in your different muscle groups as well. All right, so without further ado, we're going to do the same study method that we did to introduce the bones to you. I'm going to introduce a muscle group to you, point to it, say the name, and then I want you to repeat the same thing. I know it still may seem a little weird. The more you do it, the less weird it'll seem. And again, it is an excellent strategy for memorization. That process of looking, pointing, saying, great way to help memorize. We are first going to start with the anterior view of the muscles. When in science, when we talk about a front view of something, the term anterior will be used. All right. Right off the bat, we have the deltoid, which is our shoulder muscle. Point to it and say it. And again, I want you to understand that that is not just one muscle. There are several muscles making up that muscle group called the deltoids. Some of the muscles, by the way, are actually named for how many muscles make up that group. For example, our second muscle group, the bicep. This is probably the most common muscle when people say, show me your muscles. And you go here and it's up here. That is made up of two muscles. The word bi means two, all right? And moving on, muscles of our chest area are called our pectoral or pectoralis major. Point to it, say it. All right. Moving into what we call our core muscles, our muscles of the midsection of our body. All right. Our core muscles help a lot with just us having a good posture. They actually help us keep our balance and perform lots of sports and fitness activities. Very important. We have our abdominals. A lot of people call these your abs for short. Right in the middle of your stomach. Point to it and say it. Abdominals or abs, either way. The side of our stomach is called our obliques. Point to it, say it. All right, moving down, the upper part of our leg is called our quad. Anybody know what the word quad means? You said four, that's right. Four muscles make up this group. Quadriceps, point to it, say it. And the upper inside part of our leg, all right, is called our adductors. Adductors, point to it, say it. Good. All right. Now, excuse me while I change our camera angle, and we'll work on the posterior view of the muscles. All right. From top to bottom, we have the trapezius, which is basically attached to our scapula, that shoulder blade muscle. Point to it, say it. All right, good. And then we have the deltoid. Oh, wait a second. The deltoid was also on our anterior view. That's a unique thing about the deltoid. It is actually in the front, the anterior, and the back, the posterior. Not too many muscles can say that. Now, one of my favorite sounding muscles, it just rolls off the tongue. Latissimus dorsi. The latissimus dorsi is kind of the upper middle side part of your back. Right? They call it the swimmer's muscle. Specifically, swimming really helps develop this muscle well. Point to it, say it. The upper back part of our arm is our tricep. Point to it, say it. All right. Obviously, that is made up of three muscles. The word tri means three. All right, three muscles make up that group. The middle part of our back, which is also part of our core muscles that I talked about, in the anterior view, we talked about the abs and the obliques. And then to round that out on the posterior side, the middle part of our back is the erector spinae muscle. Point to it, say it. All right. And now, I know I'm going to get some giggles. I have for the last 8 years that I've done when I've introduced muscle anatomy to my students. We have the glutes, or the gluteus maximus, right? A lot of people think because this is attached to your bottom that it's just a flab and it doesn't do anything. That is one of the biggest misconceptions there are. The glutes are actually some of our most used and strongest muscles of the body. Without your gluteals, you could not even stand up or sit down from a chair. You could not run, jump, walk, perform an awful lot of activities, especially when you're mobile, moving, without the gluteals. Excuse me while I finish up here. We'll move down. Hopefully that's not too crazy of an angle there. And get some of our lower extremity muscles here. Our upper back part of our leg is our hamstring. Point to it, say it. And then in our calf area, we have two different muscles. One's kind of right in the middle of our calf, called our gastrocnemius, or gastroc. Point to it, say it. By the way, I know these muscles have a lot of weird sounding names. When we talk about medical things like the bones, realize that's kind of the same deal. And the muscles, a lot of crazy sounding names. That's kind of the way things are with the human body and medical terminology. In my sense, it's kind of fun to learn them. When we say them and pronounce them, it makes us sound really smart. All right. And then we have the soleus, which is also in the calf area. It actually starts a little higher, and it kind of works, is kind of highlighted here down the side of our calf a little more. All right, now, moving on, we're going to take this knowledge and we're going to learn exercises and activities that will strengthen, add endurance, add flexibility to these muscle groups, helping us out even more, learning even more how to keep care of our body. Good job, everybody, today.